stepping in. It is a time for everybody to recharge in due process and due order. Was that his good side?
This is it's a thing with the kids now. I'll explain in further detail later, but it's also summertime.
All right, are we ready to get going, Connor? Good morning. I'd like to declare a quorum and call the meeting to order of the Metro Council for July 18th, our business meeting. Connor, will you please now call the roll for attendance?
Yes, thank you. Councillor Simpson.
Present. Good morning.
Good morning. Councillor Rosenthal.
Present.
Councillor Lewis.
Present.
Councillor Nolan.
Present.
Councillor Wong. Present. And Councillor Gonzalez is excused this morning, and President Peterson.
Present, thank you. All right, because we were not in attendance in the meeting, the Councillor Chambers, we don't need to go through the safety video. So we will move right into public communication on non-agenda items. Connor, will you please describe to the audience our procedures for the public communication portion of the meeting?
Yes, thank you. So if anyone wishes to testify on non-agenda items, now is the time to do so. Public testimony will be limited to 3 minutes, and I'll manage a timer to go off of the 3-minute mark. If you've not already signed up to speak, you can do so now. You can sign up now by hitting the raise hand button on Zoom, which, depending on your version of Zoom, is either at the bottom of your screen or within the reactions tab. Those dialing in can raise their hand by dialing *9. So for those wishing to testify today, I'll promote you up to a full panelist, so I'll call your name. You'll see a window pop up asking you to accept that promotion. Once you do so, you'll be able to turn on your camera and unmute yourself. So with that, President Peterson and councilors, we have not had anybody sign up in advance to speak today. So I'll just give folks in our audience another moment or two to raise their hand if they would like to speak. Okay, and seeing none.
All right, well, thank you. I will close public communication on non-agenda items, seeing no hands raised, and move on to our consent agenda. There are 2 items on today's consent agenda: consideration of the June 6th and the June 20th, 2024 council meeting minutes. Do I have a motion for the consent agenda?
I'll move the consent agenda.
Is there a second?
Nolan seconds.
Thank you. It's been moved by Councillor Lewis and seconded by Councillor Nolan. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Hearing none, the motion carries. Thank you. Move on to resolutions. Resolution number 24-5425 for the purpose of authorizing exemption to the competitive bidding procedures and authorizing procurement of construction manager / general contractor services by competitive request for proposals for the Oregon Zoo Entry Plaza and Polar Plaza project. At this time, I will recess the meeting of the Metro Council and convene the Metro Contract Review Board. Here to present this resolution, answer any questions, we have Julie Hoffman, Procurement Analyst, and Kristen Solomon, Construction Project Managers. I will kick it off to one of the 2 of you.
Well, good morning, Council President Peterson and councilors. I am Julie Hoffman, a Procurement Analyst. Kristen and I are here today to ask you, as our local contract review board, to authorize an alternative procurement method for the Oregon Zoo Entry Plaza and Polar Plaza project. The state of Oregon public procurement rules and the Metro LCRB rules generally require public improvement projects to be procured using a low bid invitation to bid. However, the rules also permit us to procure using an RFP to procure a public improvement project, as long as the method is unlikely to encourage favoritism, will likely result in substantial cost savings, and will provide other substantial benefits to our agency. Given the complexity of the project, the Procurement Services recommends a values-based procurement method in the form of a request for proposal. This qualifications-based selection approach provides for a competitive process and allows the general contractor and the designer to work together, resulting in collaboration and avoiding costly redesign and change orders. With this RFP process, we'll be able to conduct an evaluation of the proposals to determine the overall best value for Metro. We will include criteria for contractors' experience, sustainability, diversity, as well as cost. We ask you, as our LCRB, to authorize us to use an RFP for a CMGC for the Oregon Zoo Entry and Polar Plaza project, as it is the most beneficial procurement method. Thank you for your consideration.
Great. Counselors, any questions for staff? Seeing none, I just, one question, oh, I'm sorry. Did somebody have their hand raised, Julie? Oh, Counselor.
Counselor
Oh,
Nolan.
but someone
It
was
just-
trying to raise her hand.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't, yeah,
Oh,
go for it. Thank you.
Madam President, sorry. Given that the voters have approved a large capital investment in the zoo, should we expect this kind of exception to be coming for much or most of that program, or is this an aberration?
I would expect most, if not all, will be CMGC, so no aberration.
CMGC, please.
Construction manager, general contractor, and RFP.
And that's actually what I was gonna ask. If you could just follow up on the pros of a CMGC type contract in this instance. Thanks.
I'm sorry, what was the last part of your sentence, the last word?
The benefits. If you could just go
Well-
over the benefits of this type of contracting. Thanks.
The main benefit of there are two benefits. The procurement wise, we're able to look at experience doing zoo projects, but doing projects where you have a venue that is open and going. We can't shut the zoo down. So, and benefits with the constraint of the zoo area. The benefits of the contract process is that the construction manager, general contractor, is involved at the beginning of the design process, which is likely to make the whole process go a lot smoother.
In other words, it reduced risks during the construction process.
For sure.
Thank you. Counselor Nolan, did you still have a question?
I do, Madam Chair. I would like to request that we have a little bit more extended conversation. I'm a little uncomfortable moving piecemeal into making exceptions to our standard process for $380 million without a more substantive conversation. I appreciate what you've said about this and the brief explanation you've given, but I think as stewards of those public funds, we should be a bit more rigorous. Not in this meeting. I'm happy to support this exception, but when we're spending that much money outside the normal rules, I think it warrants extended conversation. That's
So
what it is.
an overall conversation of how we are going to spend the construction money for the new zoo bond, sort of get an overarching.
That would be my request, Madam Chair.
Yes, I think that's an easy ask to fulfill. We can definitely get that on the schedule.
Yes.
And look at the overall timelines and phases that you'll be going through. And what kind of contracting is kind of generally what you're going to be considering asking us for each and every one. And I don't know, Julie, and maybe we can find out if there's a way, and I'm just gonna put this as a question for later, and maybe the answer is no right now, but if there's a way to give the exemption for all of them in one fell swoop.
Wouldn't that be nice?
If that's the way the council wants to go, but I guess that would be an an interesting question to answer, and maybe Nathan knows it right off the bat, but thanks for filling in, Nathan.
Sure. Hi, Council President Peterson and councilors. I believe you have to do these by project. Under Oregon's contract time. So, but we'll look at that and see if there's a way to do them together. I also would point out that there's pretty extensive findings attached to the resolution regarding why this is the reason we're doing this. So if you do want to take a look at those, we are making extensive findings about why an RFP process is preferable for this type of project.
Agreed. And I think Councilor Noel's question is to the overall just management of the entirety of all of the bond measure, not just to this type of contracting, but I don't want to speak for Counselor.
You had it right.
Okay, thank you. Counselor Lewis.
Sure, I just want to speak broadly in support of Metro's leadership in the CMGC space, in particular, the work that we've been doing at OCC over the years. You know, we've been working there in phases. It's not done, but we've taken great success, not only with managing complex, hard projects while keeping the facility going, but the amount of work that we've been able to do to build community partnerships to make sure that those projects are done right, that meet our workforce desires, and frankly, that have built up some big contractors into really big contractors in a really good way that uses our equity lens as well as construction for a green future sort of practice. So I think CMGC Metro has been successful broadly. And so I'm glad that we're taking the first step with the zoo. So thank you for bringing this forward. And I do hope we have the broader conversation. But I think in addition to the findings, I want to point specifically to the success at OCC.
Thank you. And yeah, that was going to be my comments as well as CMG. My experiences, this is very much helpful with this type of project in order to get better results. So thank you. Any other comments, questions, counselors? Okay. With that, is there a motion for resolution number 24-5425 for the purpose of authorizing an exemption to the competitive bidding procedures and authorizing procurement of construction manager / general contractor services by competitive request for proposals for the Oregon Zoo Entry Plaza and Polar Plaza project?
So moved. Well said. That was a mouthful.
Thank you.
Second.
All right, it's been moved by Counselor Simpson and seconded by Counselor Nolan. Counselors, any further discussion? Great. Connor, will you please call the roll? I'm not seeing that in my notes, Nathan, so that's why I'm hesitating. We are voting on this today, correct?
Correct, you are.
Okay, Connor, will you please call the roll?
Thank you. Councilor Wong.
Aye.
Councilor Simpson.
Aye.
Councilor Lewis.
Aye.
Councilor Nolan.
Yes.
Councilor Rosenthal.
Yes.
And President Peterson.
Aye, thank you. The motion passes. Thank you both, Julie and Kristen, for all of your efforts on this, and we will see you back for a bigger conversation. Thanks. All right. I'm gonna take the Metro Council Contract Review Board is now adjourned, and the meeting of the Metro Council is now reconvened. We will move on to ordinances. This is our second reading and vote on ordinance number 24-1516 for the purpose of annexing to the Metro District approximately 1.15 acres of Northeast Sewell Avenue right-of-way in Hillsborough between Northeast Evergreen Road and Northwest Meek Road. The first reading and public hearing of this ordinance was held July 11th, 2024. We received no public testimony. We have Associate Regional Planner Glenn Hamburg available to answer any questions. Counselors, are there any questions? All right, seeing no hands raised, is there a motion for ordinance number 24-1516?
I move adoption.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved by Counselor Nolan and seconded by Counselor Simpson. Any further discussion, counselors? Seeing none. Connor, will you please call the roll?
Yes, thank you. Counselor Lewis,
Aye.
Counselor Rosenthal,
Aye.
Counselor Simpson,
Aye.
Counselor Nolan,
Yes.
Counselor Wong.
Aye.
And President Peterson.
Aye, the motion passes. Thank you so much. Thank you, Glenn. All right, we will move on to Chief Operating Officer Communication. We have our Deputy Chief Operating Officer, Holly Calhoun. I made you a Holly Calhoun. We'll get it right. Holly Calhoun for any updates.
Thank you so much. And I'll go by any name that works for you. Just a couple updates for folks today. Want to first give an update on the I-84 cleanup on Sunday, and a big shout out to Council President Peterson for joining in the early morning and representing Metro. And yeah, even more importantly, want to share our RID patrol crews did an incredible job removing garbage from July 10th to 12th. They actually removed 4.88 tons or 9,700 pounds of garbage. So that's just a phenomenal amount of cleaning up during the event. So just a big shout out to that team as usual. Second quick update for folks is a reminder about a survey on the future improvements to Blue Lake Park. So we're wanting to make sure that folks know there's an online survey open through August 15th to residents of the greater Portland area. It is available on our website in English and Spanish, and it offers an opportunity to look at the 3 different design options for renovations at Blue Lake Park and select what your favorite is, give feedback, what you like, what you don't like. And we really want to make sure that folks take an opportunity to fill out that survey. And then lastly, just want folks to know that we launched a new reel on our Instagram page about profiles of residents of one of our Metro funded affordable housing bond developments in Clackamas County. And it's really awesome. So I definitely encourage you to watch that and check it out. And that's all I've got for you.
Thank you so much. All right, we'll move on to Counselor Communications. I guess before anybody else raises their hands, I just wanted to also thank RID Patrol for the I-84 cleanup. We got nothing but accolades from our partners on our partnership and collaboration in order to help do that. And, you know, we've been doing this a very long time now. And RID has grown. Regional Illegal Dump program has grown substantially. And, you know, on one hand, it's very sad that we're at this point where we have such a large program. On the other hand, accolades to the council and staff for quickly making it a program that meets the needs of where we are right now, as well as the workforce development portion of it. So kudos to that team. It's hard work. Some of you have joined them out there when they're doing these cleanups. I have, during the pandemic, spent a lot of Fridays going out, and it's very hard, backbreaking work. So we just want to say thank you for all of that. Counselors, any other communications? Seeing none. Counselors, we are adjourned, and our next regular meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, July 23rd at 10:30 a.m. Thank you, everybody.